Is watching porn haram?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Well, this is indeed a very interesting question, and I think before I explicitly answer it, I need to explain this, that as far as Islam is concerned, one of the most important areas in which the Quran has given us directives is the institution of the family. And to the Almighty, if you read the Quran, the institution of the family is of utmost importance. It wants to safeguard that institution. It wants to create harmony between the spouses. It wants to create parents who are affectionate towards their children. And in order to protect this whole institution, there are a bunch of directives which have been given in the Quran. And if you read Surah Nur, you'll find out that one of those directives is to guard our gazes from taking undue liberty. So we are talking about staring at women who are wearing dresses, or maybe inappropriate dresses. And the Quran tells us that we must not let our eyes lust. And Prophet Jesus, many centuries ago, before the Prophet had even said that it's like lusting through the eyes in this way is like having adultery of the eyes with the opposite gender. So it is something which is prohibited, because what it does is it sort of directs all your attention in such a potent way, in such a strong way, that you become actually addicted to it. And Islam wants to start off at a very early age. So even before you get married, you enter into mature age. It wants ourselves to remain pure. It does not let the mirror of our soul get tarnished by such images. And the reason, as I said, is that all such things, they take you away from that harmony that should exist between the spouses. The institution of the family is such that any dent which is made in that institution is bound to make the children suffer, the spouses suffer, and so therefore it wants our eyes to remain pure, it wants our emotions to remain dedicated towards the spouses, in between the spouses. So when we look at such images like pornography, and for that matter anything which is related to lusting of the eyes, it severely dents that feeling of closeness, of proximity, of harmony between the spouses. So because of the fact that to the Almighty, the institution of the family is of ultimate importance, this protection has been given to this institution. So with this background, yes, I would say that watching pornography is something which is highly discouraged, because once a person enters into this habit, it remains a permanent habit with him. Even before getting married, if you start watching porn, everyone who has indulged into it will tell us that it is something so addictive and it is something so attractive that one actually has to leave his normal or her normal activities, get ourselves so much into it that we normally forget even our basic responsibilities. So the bottom line is, yes, pornography is discouraged, because once you enter into it, even after your marriage, you feel so much drawn towards it, that feeling that has to be satisfied between the spouses, it no longer remains there. It's like looking out of your wedlock towards other means to satisfy your sexual urge. So if you have this background in mind, and you are also able to gauge the fact that the importance which the institution of the family occupies in Islam, and how much the Almighty wants to protect the next generation, and how much the Almighty wants to protect that mutual feeling of being married together, one can clearly see why this stress is found in the Quran and Islamic directives, that we should not at all indulge in doing this. And at the same time, also, we should positively engage in activities that are more creative. You see, the next question which people often ask is, because of the fact that pornography is so attractive and it's so easily available, it's just a click away, how on earth are we able to, how on earth can we avoid it? So I do have this thesis that one of the most powerful things that can counter pornography is to indulge into activities which are equally powerful or equally potent. And one of them is creativity. And that means that you are able to satisfy your own personal aptitude in a way that you discover your talent, you're able to find out your aptitude, and then you use that aptitude and your talent to set an objective before yourself, and you start pursuing that objective. So what happens is that sexual urge, which is naturally present at puberty, it remains with us for a long period of our lives. If it is channelized in a way that we have other noble pursuits, And of course, when I talk about open noble pursuits, I also have this, of course, I do imply the fact that one should have a very strong relationship with God. That's another very potent emotion. Because you see, in order to check pornography or in order to check all these instincts, you have to have an equally powerful parallel force that can attract yourself or attach yourselves towards that. So creativity and even before creativity, attaching yourselves towards God, drawing yourselves towards God through various worship rituals, remaining in a pure environment, having something as an objective in life. So all these things, if you have them in life, they serve to check that unbridled desire, which can become destructive. It can, just destroy our family lives. It can have very bad effects on our health. So this is how I would, in a background, in a certain way, explain that as parents, we have to tell our children that this is something, sexual desire is something which is very natural. It arises very naturally, but in order to keep it in check, there are certain things that we need to do, and also give them examples that if we don't keep them in check, look how the institution of family is destroyed and how disruptive it becomes, as we can see today in our lives.
Okay, so this porn, is it explicitly haram in Islam, or is it a sadde zariya? It's like stopping us from going towards the haram? Because Ghamidi Sahab often talks about 5 things that are haram in Surah Araf. So which 5 things does this fall in, or is it explicitly haram in Islam?
You see, as far as the prohibition of pornography is concerned, if you ask me explicitly, yes, I would say it's explicitly haram because of the fact that it says that all things which are lewd, all things which are lustful, whether they are ma zahara wa ma batan, as that Quranic verse says, they should be avoided. But at the same time, it needs to be understood that they are basically precautionary measures, because you see what ultimately is prohibited is adultery or fornication. So you see, the Almighty wants all those extramarital relations which might lead up to adultery or fornication to stand prohibited. And all these things, they are initiated through the heart's desire, and the window of the heart are your eyes. So you see, when you look outside, it's through your eyes, and all such activities, all such emotions, they stem from the eye. So a sort of prohibition is clamped down right at the beginning, so that eyes don't take undue liberty. And I would say that this is the most important thing that we have to understand, that it's basically controlling your own eyes, even when women are there and they are wearing their proper dress. So what to speak of viewing nudity?